recreation, and economic development. So it's not to say that the resources and the lands will never be developed. It's just to make sure that there is a cohesiveness between heritage conservation, recreation, and economic development. And then in January of 2023, President Biden signed the National Heritage Areas Act, PL 117 339, into law. And the law established the National Heritage Area System, a statutory framework for the National Park Service's role in its administration. And in 2023, 7 national heritage areas were designated, bringing the total in the United States to 62. Let me make sure I have that right. I believe 62. And what's amazing is that St. Croix National Heritage Area is listed. And I think that that's really powerful because while the feature photograph shows, it's very interesting, Christiansted in St. Croix, and kind of featured to the front is the actual National Park Service's Christiansted Heritage Site. That's a conversation that will bring to mind a wide variety because it is managed by our Virgin Islands State Historic Preservation Office, and it is also something that is connected to the multiple industries that are happening here in St. Croix and some of the sites of interest. And I realized the one that should have been at the top, but this is in alphabetical order, is the Maroon Ridge area that the people know as the Maroon Sanctuary Lands. And in light of what I just read in the poetic verse, those Maroons, that energy of persons of African ascent and ancestry that never accepted enslavement in any form and would run away even if it cost their lives or that of their family, their children, their loved ones. It's important to know that that area, that land, is being protected. So the historic sites of interest are listed here, and this will mean not that much to people that don't know St. Croix. So I'll just kind of focus on the Buck Island Reef National Monument, the Christiansted National Historic Site, the Christiansted National Historic District, the Estate Diamond Cruiser and Rum Factory, the Estate Little Princess, the Nature Conservancy, Estate Mount Washington, Estate Wind Plantation Museum. We tend to just say Estate Wind Museum and delete plantation because we know most of these estates and the great houses were plantation sites. The Fort Frederick National Historic Landmark Site, the Frederiksted National Historic District, the Friedenthal Moravian Mission Site and other churches, Government House, the Green Key National Wildlife Refuge, the Lewetts Family Estate at Estate LaGrange, of course, as I said, Maroon Ridge, the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve, Columbus Landing Site, even though Columbus didn't land there in 1493. He tried though, and the Taino women chased him away, left one survivor to go back and tell him, don't come back. Sandy Point National Wild Refuge, Southgate Coastal Reserve, St. Croix East End Marine Park, St. George Village Botanical Garden. They refer to it as the Estate St. George National Historic District. And then it speaks of notable people. And most people here won't say that the notable person is Christopher Columbus, just so we know that. But that's listed here, but also Queen Mary, the leader of the Great Fire Burn of 1878 in St. Croix, General Butto, and David Hamilton Jackson. Interesting that they lived in two different eras and impacted two different things, with General Butto being instrumental to the thrust for freedom and liberation in the mid 1800s, whereas David Hamilton Jackson, a labor leader, a judge, a lawyer, much more, was instrumental to the first newspaper, free newspaper, we should say, being started here, and also being instrumental to labor rights and principled governance here in the Virgin Islands. And that was in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like 1915 was around the time that they started the Liberty Paper. Alexander Hamilton, as quiet as it's kept, while being born in Nevis, another Caribbean island with mixed heritage. Let's be frank, Alexander Hamilton